While Caitlin is fantastic and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
Here we go again. Why is Caitlin Clark popular?
Caitlin Clark is only popular because she is white. That is a narrative that is very popular among the morons. Major moron, Monica McNutt, how she has a job, I absolutely know, at ESPN.
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
You think anybody cares if Dejournay Carrington knocks Kennedy Carter on her ass? No. You think anybody cares if Angel Reese misses her next 6 layups, falls down, shows her ass, and claims sexism? No. We only care that Caitlin Clark is playing. We only care that Caitlin Clark is getting beat up. We only care that Caitlin Clark is hitting a deep three. We only care that Caitlin Clark is getting poked in the eye. Everybody else can poke everybody else in the eye. The reason we care because her game is something we have not.
Welcome back to the Buzzer Update. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Today I've got another exciting and highly interesting video for you. And if you're a true Caitlin Clark fan, you're definitely going to want to watch this one until the very end. Before we get started, let me know you're part of the Buzzer Update army by commenting CC 100% below. I love seeing all the amazing Clark fans in the comments. Now, without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into today's video. The conflict between Caitlin Clark and her media detractors couldn't get any more outrageous, but then it did. The sports world was rocked by legal shockwaves. News of Caitlin Clark's complaint against ESPN's Monica McNutt surfaced moments ago. Clark accused McNutt of disseminating racially charged falsehoods that damaged Clark's reputation, insulted her fans, and attempted to thwart the WNBA's greatest ascent to date. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 90% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video.
Prevailing narrative that has been created around this season's WNBA play is that it's the league versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity could take it to the next level.
I don't expect the race baiting to stop. I don't expect the hate to stop, the jealousy to stop, the sexism to stop, the bigotry to stop, the stupidity to stop. Because the people that tell you that Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's a white girl are full of shit. You either don't pay attention or you're too dumb.
McNutt had been implying for months that Clark's notoriety was more due to her skin tone than her talent, referring to her as a white middle-class girl who primarily appeals to young suburban girls.
This is what Caitlin Clark said. Y'all come at me like this, I'm not doing any interviews with you. Y'all keep coming at it with these dumbasses, Monica McNutt. I'm done with you. I'm not doing interviews with you. We'll go play in the Unrivaled League, and let's see which league gets going. And then let's see where the hell we're at. Your dumbasses at ESPN want to get up there and be racist as hell towards me? I don't participate in racism. Next time I hear that bullshit, we ain't playing in the game that you're televising.
However, Caitlin is now responding in court. Why did Clark reach his breaking point?
The women of the WNBA will continue their jealousy. They'll continue to hit, fight, knock Caitlin Clark on her ass, and Caitlin Clark's viewings will just go up, up, up.
The WNBA draft ticket prices have come out, and thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect, ticket prices have skyrocketed for the WNBA draft. In fact, they've doubled.
Hey Fever fans, it's Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to get to Indianapolis. I know you guys are excited. I am too. Go Fever!
There's no way the WNBA could have draft and not have Caitlin Clark involved. Caitlin Clark appearance, commentary, something that's going to have her in the venue in front of people. Even if it's just standing around, people are going to pay money to want to see that. Tell me once more how the Caitlin Clark effect isn't real.
Why is McNutt allegedly crying behind the scenes? And how did this all turn into a full-fledged lawsuit from a media take? Yes, we're delving deeply into this now.
Caitlin Clark's game sells. Her attitude sells. She doesn't talk much. When we do, when she does, we pay attention. Has nothing to do with her being a white girl. It has to do with her game. It has to do with taking Iowa. Has to do with deep threes. Has to do with behind the back, no-look passes. We're drawn to those type players. Black, white, green, or purple.
So, fasten your seatbelts, because what just transpired could permanently alter sports media. And put CC 100% in the comments section right now if you support Caitlin Clark and think her success is due to talent rather than skin tone. Let's demonstrate to the world that hard effort, talent, and honesty are still important.
There's the two sides who think she is only popular and does have the notoriety and recognition that she does because she is white. There is the other side that says you guys are crazy, you're all jealous of her, and she is just talented.
It all started with what appeared to be a casual interview. Rising ESPN pundit and frequent WNBA commentator Monica McNutt appeared on the BBC. The subject was the media frenzy surrounding Caitlin Clark's debut season. At that point, McNutt said something that would start a fire.
Why have all these fans come to see Caitlin? And all the little suburban white girls have hopped on board because Caitlin Clark, she resonates with them more so than the angry black lesbians who dominate the WNBA.
She claimed that because Clark was a white girl from the heartland of America, she represented a lot to many people, not necessarily because of her attitude or words. The entire discourse was changed by that 7-word sentence.
I'm going to need all the race baiters who explain Caitlin Clark's popularity simply because she's white to explain why 10 million more people watched her last year than Paige Becker's, also white, this year. And a lot of people, of course, said she had Angel Reese as the villain. 18.9 million, the most ever. The 18.5 million did not involve Angel Reese. It involved USC, South Carolina. Guess who's this year? Game involved. That was 10 million down from last year. South Carolina. Two biggest names in college basketball this year. Actually, they were in this Final Four. They were in this championship game. And yet, the ratings tanked. The ratings were over 50% less.
Monica made an effort to strike a balance by admitting that Clark was marketable, strong, and exciting. She wasn't merely evaluating Clark's gameplay, though, so her remarks had a new significance. She was arguing that Clark's success wasn't just due to her court performance. She described it as what she stood for in terms of race. And for a lot of fans and observers, that was the very point at which the story became poisonous.
To the Women's NCAA Championship, viewership numbers were released where Clark and Iowa set a record for the 4 most watched games ever in the Women's Final Four involved Iowa and Caitlin Clark. People are going to tell you that the reason Caitlin Clark was so popular in college was her rivalry with Angel Reese. But there is no Angel Reese. There was no Angel Reese. There was South Carolina. Angel Reese played at LSU.
Critics reacted promptly. They contended that McNutt's framing gave the impression that white fans were only attending because Clark resembled them rather than because of her indisputable skill, leadership, and highlight plays.
There's just so much statistical data to prove why people are invested and interested and can't stop looking at Caitlin Clark. Like, she has broken a record for records. As a rookie, she has done things nobody else has done. Stats do not require race as a prerequisite. They just are what they are.
Tickets for Monday's upcoming WNBA draft have nearly doubled since last year. Attendees this year will pay $99 or more to sit in the lower tier. Last year when Clark was drafted, the tickets were $50.
The inconsistency was brought out by several. Would it be controversial to claim that AJ Wilson or Angel Reese are role models for young black girls due to their representation? Not, of course. However, it becomes an issue when it comes to Clark and her predominantly white fan base.
You stand up to bullies. You don't acquiesce. Because when you acquiesce or apologize, it will never stop. You stand up to bullies. You tell them go F themselves.
It wasn't a subtle accusation. It was computed, and it was no longer just about Clark. Whether on purpose or not, Monica's remarks affected every young girl who came to support Clark. All of a sudden, young girls who waited in lengthy lines for a selfie, held homemade banners, and wore her jersey were being reduced to racial bigotry. Just picture the sensation of it. For many families who just saw a player they loved and wanted to support, not just for Clark.
Caitlin Clark does have a further 3-point range than even Steph Curry, and that is just kind of bonkers. Think about how popular Steph Curry is. Caitlin Clark shoots farther away on average than he does.
It all comes back to Caitlin Clark's popularity. I believe it is based on basketball more than anything else. Look at what went viral from the Letterman clip, her playing basketball.
Even while Monica may have believed she was making a meaningful point about representation, the majority of the audience perceived her as saying something quite different. A subtle but potent hint that Clark didn't deserve his accomplishment. It was inherited, not because of her diligence, self-control, music, or unique skill set, but rather because she was born white and from the Midwest.
Clark made the comments to Time magazine. Monica McNutt recently said on BBC, perhaps a big reason for Caitlin Clark's popularity is she's white and from the Midwest.
The Monica McNutt stuff, and specifically with this level of media, we're talking about with ESPN, their issue with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark represents Trump America, MAGA America. They see her and they say, this is someone that everybody who roots for probably voted for Donald Trump, and I hate Donald Trump, and I hate those red hats, and I hate everything that represents to me. Because to me, that represents race.
The devastation began there. Caitlin Clark also remembered it. The remarks made by Monica McNutt were not ignored. They actually struck a match. Then the world of sports blew up.
And little girls said, hey, I can relate to Caitlin Clark. She's like us. She has a boyfriend. There's a lot of parents that feel real comfortable taking their kids to a game.
ESPN and claimed that Monica McDougal is an NBA analyst. Obviously, Monica never played in the NBA. Monica wasn't even good enough to play in the WNBA. Maybe that's why Monica seems to be jealous of Caitlin Clark.
Critics from all walks of life started criticizing her almost immediately after her interview aired for what they called race-baiting bias and a cheap shot at a young woman who's done nothing but play the game she loves. Monica was criticized by independent podcasters, music, conservative voices, and former athletes for introducing racial storylines where none were appropriate. Music, the attempt to portray Caitlin Clark as the embodiment of racial bias in women's athletics, is much worse.
Paige Beckers is a terrific player. She'll capture the imagination a little. She'll do some commercials, but she's not going to be Caitlin Clark because she doesn't have that kind of game. Don't try to compare her to Diana Taurasi or Miller's sister, Cheryl Miller, Tamika Catchings. No, her game is different. It's better. It's flashier. It resonates with the way basketball is played today.
One sports analyst stated it plainly. She came for more than simply Clark. She came for all the young girls who admire her. Others claimed that McNutt went too far in associating race with the purest form of fandom, that of young children who only wish to support an idol, accusing kids of having implicit racial prejudice. That struck a nerve. Music. One pundit even went so far as to refer to it as bottom feeder comments, calling it a new low. Interview.
Things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her, little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented. And again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Monica made no effort to apologize in public, but her silence only made matters worse. Outkick commentators and sports figures like Dave Portnoy piled in, ridiculing ESPN for allegedly using identity politics as a weapon against one of the few players who genuinely generate interest and income for the WNBA. One author even made a harsh remark. ESPN would want to bury Clark behind accusations of white privilege, acknowledging that she is the reason the league has finally gained popularity. He claimed that McNutt and others found it intolerable that a white heterosexual girl from Iowa had contributed more to the league's success than decades of racial branding and social activity.
Former black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her, and it's going to elevate the entire league.
This is when the situation became more unsettling. Insiders and some fans started making the connections. On the court, Caitlin Clark is frequently targeted. Hard fouls, persistent trash language, and elbows to the face all seemed less random. Clark had been singled out by the media narrative spearheaded by McNutt and others. They claimed that she stood for power, whiteness, and America's fixation with race. And that story gave certain players an excuse, whether valid or not, to pursue her.
Women of the WNBA will get past your racism, past your sexism, and see a woman that just freaking balls like we like to see people play basketball.
Nobody was shocked when Clark eventually got up and stated enough is enough. The fact that it was a lawsuit was the only thing that surprised me. However, Monica McNutt's remarks, the subsequent backlash, and the public uproar that transformed a basketball prodigy into a cultural lightning rod with the seeds placed right here. What started out as media angst has now developed into a full-fledged court battle.
She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play. Asia Wilson should be centered, and they should be celebrating her. And all the little white girls should want to be like Asia Wilson. Little black girls don't want to be like Asia Wilson.
According to reports, Caitlin Clark, a quiet but self-assured rookie who has borne the weight of a league on her shoulders, has sued Monica McNutt, accusing her of instigating animosity through racially charged falsehood, defamation, and reputational harm. This isn't just another scandal involving public relations. This is genuine and intimate. Insiders close to the case claim that the lawsuit focuses on Monica McNutt's persistent claim that Clark's success is due more to her whiteness and relatability to a particular group of people than to any merit. It notably draws attention to McNutt's now viral comments. Music, which portrayed Clark as the result of racial preference rather than exceptional athletic ability. According to Clark's legal team, the remarks were harmful in addition to being deceptive.
She's different. She's a white girl from the middle of corn country.
They like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be angry. And so they find her relatable.
According to the lawsuit, Clark claims that McNutt's remarks set off a chain reaction that resulted in heightened court violence, animosity from the media, and several attempts to undermine her achievements. Clark claims that everything got worse when McNutt painted her as a symbol of luxury, including being elbowed in the face, being made fun of during interviews, and being jeered by rival players. The lawsuit claimed that this turned Clark into a target for animosity. However, it extends beyond athletics.
Yet, instead of appreciating Clark for leading the WNBA out of the abyss and into the mainstream conversation, mean girls and race clowns met her with resistance. Because Caitlin Clark's white, that's why little girls have gravitated towards her. I think what she's saying is ridiculous, and to tie it to little girls, you're going as low as humanly possible at this.
The claim that McNutt's remarks reinforced a harmful stereotype is part of Clark's legal defense. Success in women's basketball should only be acknowledged if it aligns with a particular ideology. In addition to insulting Clark supporters, McNutt created division in a league that was already battling for cohesion and expansion by reducing his fan base to racist support. According to the lawsuit, ticket sales, TV ratings, merchandise sales, and public visibility all skyrocketed as soon as Clark entered the draft, demonstrating the enormous influence she has had on the league. It makes the case that Clark was more than just a basketball player. She brought the WNBA back to life, and McNutt's attempts to minimize that through racial narratives were not only incorrect, but also malevolent. Music. Many were taken back by the emotional consequences that occurred behind the scenes. Monica McNutt was reportedly noticeably frightened after receiving the lawsuit, according to sources. According to an ESPN insider, she was spotted crying, shocked that the network's heyday had turned into a legal issue. According to a different report, she thought she was doing critical analysis rather than defamation. However, Clark was unwilling to back down because the harm had already been done.
NBA's attendance had a record-breaking high in 20 years with a total of 2.3 million fans attending games. You know what the increase was from 2024 to 2023 in attendance? 48%. That's massive. That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
Phenomenon, yeah.
If Caitlin Clark gets injured, it's...
The WNBA, ESPN, and the fundamental basis of how race and gender are discussed in contemporary sports media have all been rocked by this lawsuit. Because a player didn't simply ignore the sounds for the first time, she didn't choose the best course of action. Caitlin Clark made the decision to retaliate using legal force, facts, and receipts. It's no longer only a discussion. Truth, reputation, and what it truly means to be a star in the realm of women's sports are all at issue in this legal dispute. These days, it's more than simply basketball. It's about what happens when a young woman refuses to allow false tales to rewrite her legacy and the cost of excellence. This battle was not requested by Caitlin Clark. She broke records in ways we've never seen, worked more, and played smarter to earn her platform. However, she did what champions do. She stood her ground. When the uproar became too loud and the headlines misrepresented her,
every single one of you WNBA players, you better pray that Caitlin Clark doesn't get injured, because she's keeping your league afloat.
Juju Watkins goes down with a devastating injury that might keep her out next season. God forbid. If the same thing happens to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA will not survive. You have one young woman carrying the entire league. And Monica McDougal and her pretend friends in the media, they are doing everything they can to piss off her fan base.
Monica McNutt is presently in the middle of a storm that she contributed to, one that may have cost her career as well as the public's trust. Because there is a cost when commentary turns into character assassination. One thing is very evident as this court drama plays out. Not only is Caitlin Clark transforming the WNBA, she is altering the discourse on racial discrimination, media responsibility, and what happens when the truth eventually retaliates. Tell us, then, who you support in this fight for women's basketball soul. Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you value truth over spin, click the like button. Additionally, remember to subscribe because this narrative is far from finished and will be here to provide you with all of its twists and turns. Until the next time, maintain your focus on the court, remain authentic, and remain sharp.